Hi friends, in this video I'm sharing one of my practice sessions of the Jig Banish Misfortune that I recently introduced. And I'll stick a note right here at the top and at the end of this video so that you could access that original walkthrough of the tune in case you haven't learned it yet. And I'll also stick a link at the top of the notes to this video to the page on my website from which you could download the music and tabs for this really fun jig to play. Now, in my practice sessions, I do, as I've said, a variety of things. And I do like to rehearse this because we often have new folks joining us. So what I do in my practice sessions is I start off and I first learn the core of the tune. I take the time to slowly go through and learn the core. And I just try and work on learning the core of the tune. And once I get that start learning it, I then start thinking about ornamentation and expression. And in doing that, I listen to tons of people because I want to get a real sense of the possibilities of a tune. And so for me, that's really important. Then I start messing around with it. I start seeing what I could do with this tune. And from an ornamentation and expression standpoint, so ornamentation are all the traditional ornaments you would use to enhance and personalize a tune. Expression are sometimes changing your volume, pausing for a moment, adding a bit of emotional pathos into a tune. So with Banish Misfortune, I've listened to a bunch of folks. I've done a little experimenting, but this is one of my earlier ornament practices. I'm already to the point where I feel comfortable with the tune. Now I'm getting to the point where I'm thinking I know ornamentation, thinking I know what I want to try. And I like to share this because, you start thinking through options. Now, for this practice session, I'm going to be playing the Carbony low D, close finger spacing, the standard bore low D whistle of theirs, and the Killarney high D. Both delightful whistles, and I'll stick links to where you could pick up each of these in the notes to this video. So, before I jump in, one more note on ornamentation. Now, I watch people ornament this, and they are much more experienced players than I. Remember, this is my journey of learning to play the whistle, and I am welcoming us all together as a community to do this together. And so, I find that if you're a newer player, as you're playing a tune, particularly some of the faster tunes, even some of the slower tunes, don't try and over-ornament the tune. Let the tune speak for itself and ornament it as you can. I often say from a pace standpoint, play as you can, not as you can't. And I say also from an ornamentation standpoint, play as you can, not as you can't. Because if you play a clean, fun tune and your ornaments are, even if they're minimal, they are appropriate and accentuate the tune, then I think that's awesome. So I think other people will too. Anyway, so the Carbony low D, let's start thinking about ornamenting Banish Misfortune. Okay, so the Banish Misfortune, as I played a minute ago, I'm standing back a little bit so you can see my fingers. Even though on the Carbony, it's a lot easier. This is not a whistle just for people who don't want to do the wide finger spacing. It's just a delightful low D whistle all the way around. They get the folks at Carbony just have done a phenomenal job. So I played through the tune, and when I do that, I'm listening and thinking, and I'm thinking about all the people I've heard play it. So you notice I started throwing some ornaments in. If I have a sense of what I've heard, then my fingers are going to start to want to do it. So let me back that back and see what I and my hands are thinking. Now, and I've listened to a bunch of, it's amazing how many banjo players are playing this, dude. I've listened to a bunch of groups play this. I went to a lot of flute players, and that was pretty interesting. So you could start off punchy. So you could enter the tune. So just enter with a cut, but I did a cut. You could enter with a roll. You could do it a little faster than that, but that's a cut and a tap. So, kind of immediately. Or one of the ones I really like, because the tune just does start in right away quick. Another one that I find fun is do a really quick slide from the E to the F sharp. It's almost a tap bounce, but it's a little slower. So what you're doing is it's almost like I'm in the tune. So that's a fun thing. Do what you want. And I am using tonguing as another ornament to enhance some of the phrasing. Okay. And on those triplet sequences, I've heard some people, instead of doing like instead of doing the straight notes or ornamenting into it, excuse me, I've heard some people, instead of like that F sharp, E, F sharp, put like a roll in to replace the E. No, you'd have to roll off it. And that's nice. I'm kind of not 100% feeling that, because I think the notes speak for themselves there. Okay, yeah. See, for me, leaning minimal, if I can play it a little faster, then I can learn and experiment with more ornaments later. But moving into the second bit, the B part, you could hit that. I'm not a huge fan of over ornamenting. You could hit it straight and then roll off of that D, because you got a double D there. See, that's not tons of ornaments, but I feel like it could do some highlighting. Yeah. This might just be as simple as better for me day. And then the third part, I've heard a lot of people, instead of jumping into the third part, of hitting that a little lighter to add an alternate expression. Okay, Couple of things on that. Maybe tongue one of the notes in that descent. So I'm cutting the A, sliding on the G. Another cut on the back on that G. And then hitting a light tongue on the C natural. And then bouncing as though I were hitting a G on that walk down, since it's a repeated C natural. I don't know. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So that's on the Carbony. Let me just run through it. I'm going to give it a try on the Killarney to see how I'm thinking, and then you can see what you're thinking, because it's not me saying, hey, you need to try this. It's, hey, here's an example of what I'm currently thinking, of what I'm currently experimenting with. I hope that inspires you and encourages you to try either that or something else. So let's go to the Killarney, and we'll see how this is working out. All right, so I've got the Killarney now, the high D. Just gonna try some different things here. Try kind of what I just talked about. See how some of that goes, and I don't know. We'll find out. I do like the ornaments at the beginning of the triplets, and you keep the notes of the triplets. That feels okay. Yep, and obviously that's not my pace yet. B part. Oh, that's fun. C part. Yeah, I like that almost little hesitation, lighter push on the entry to the C. All right, I'm gonna give it one more go, see if I can do this without stopping. Well, well, I can't, obviously. Well, I obviously have a good bit of work to do, but that's okay. See this, sometimes I introduce a practice session where I'm further along, and this is a practice session where I'm obviously not further along, but I think that's important. The reality of where we are in our development, even on a single tune, is important for us to share together. And so that's where I am currently, and I'm still working on this. I need to spend more time. I'll play it through another time or two, and then I'll put it down. I'll play some other stuff, and I'm going to pick this up again tomorrow and see how I'm feeling about it then. You don't want to just hammer a tune and hammer a tune and hammer a tune until your fingers don't even know what they're doing. You pick it up, you work on it, you think about it, you work on it, you set it down, you come back tomorrow. So anyway, one of my early practice sessions, one of my early Ornamentation and Expression practice sessions of Banish Misfortune. My friends, I do hope this is helpful for you, because it's really helpful for me to begin working through this stuff and trying to figure out what exactly I want to do with this lovely jig. And I hope it's helpful for you. If you're new and just checking us out, please subscribe. We'd love to welcome you in on the journey. We've got such a great community. Until next time, my friends, this is Scott Shade. Happy whistling.